What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another video of AGX Comics. I have had a busy 2 weeks. That's kind of why content's been a little slow on the channel, but no need to fear that that's kind of gone down. And obviously, I'm back recording, and especially because I got some really cool stuff coming up in the pipe works that I really can't wait to get to. But today's video, what I am talking about is the hottest gossip for DC currently, and that's this DC Ultimate Universe kind of thing. I don't know how you want to. We don't have an official name to call it, so the easiest way to describe it is calling it an Ultimate Universe. And here's what I know about it, and I'm going to get into like what I think, maybe some speculation on what I think it might be like, and from there, is it a good idea or not? And that's kind of what this video is going to be, persisting or consisting of. Sorry, I'm running on like 4 hours of sleep, so sorry if my tongue gets a little tied, but without further ado, let's jump into this. So, it was brought up at the New York Comic Con for in 2023 of I got an article expert excerpt here. This was way back in October where they started like having like little here and there things. I guess they were bringing up what it would look like to bring a multiversal look, which it's kind of interesting because if you think of DC, they already kind of I feel like they got a better grip on the universe thing than Marvel does. And actually, in some cases, if you think about it, because obviously in Marvel, we know that it was a huge hit the first time. I mean, I was around, but I was not reading. And let me rephrase that. So that's kind of why I don't know too much of like how the fandom was at that time and how they, accepted it. But it was pretty easy to do some research and get a good inkling that everyone kind of was on board with most of the Marvel Ultimate Universe, and that's the original one. I'm not talking about the one that just came out because I know I've been talking about that one kind of at length, which I'm shocked that it's had its hits like it has, but that's another video for another time. But but it has been rumored so far that the person who will be taking, this whole thing over is Scott Snyder, which is kind of interesting. So what was the original Marvel Ultimate Universe? Well, originally it seems like it was just a way to separate what the norm was and kind of introduce into a whole new sphere of the same character with different properties, like basically things that are changed about that character, right? So I would take a good leap of faith to say that everyone who's probably watching this video right now definitely knows kind of why, like what the purpose was of the Marvel Ultimate Universe. So it's just kind of basically there to shake up from the 616 into its own thing and kind of get new readers on like an easier jumping on point. And honestly, like I think if you think about that, like in terms of DC, like obviously I was around during DC Rebirth, but I don't think it's kind of like that because DC Rebirth was still telling the continuity, like that was still pushing the DC universe forward. Where this would be taking the DC characters and putting some kind of spin on them. And I was really like thinking like okay, like some of my favorite DC characters, right? Like Green Arrow, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. Like there's so many cool things that I think you could jump into, and I think right now, if I was DC, that it would be like all things pointing in the right direction. Because if you see the success that the new Ultimate Marvel Universe has had, it's like you'd be crazy not to try it, right? So that's why I think it's a better time than any is to just jump on and start doing it now. So I think it's a good idea. However, what would it look like? And I'm guessing if it's a Scott Snyder and it's more of an interpretation about what his films were, I'm like, is it just going to be dark and gritty? Who knows? But I think that I hope that they go and take it a different route, and it's just not a retelling or not like like not like just a retelling of old things that we might have seen in like kind of like the multiversal books that we have. Like I mean, we know we get like Batman, like currently one of the best Batman books in my opinion right now is Batman Offworld. I love that book. And I think that like telling like those like kind of like out of the continuity stories are very cool and they're very successful sometimes, obviously sometimes, because sometimes they're absolute bombs. But, I think that going forward, I think this is a good idea from DC. Let me know. I'm curious in the comment section below. What do you guys think? At first, I was skeptical about the Marvel Ultimate Universe because I was like, oh God, I'm going to have to keep up with two different timelines. And then Ultimate Spider Man dropped, and I'm like, hey, well, this ain't so freaking bad. And then I just literally 2 days just got done reading Ultimate Black Panther. And yeah, this is pretty damn cool. So I think it's going to be, and I'm geared up for the X-Men one coming out. The last one, I think, but obviously I think that DC it would be an interesting take, and I think that right now it's a good way to introduce. I don't know if it necessarily introduce new readers, but I think you would get a lot of lost readers back from all of the fallout from recent years of what DC's done. So I think it's a good idea. Like I really do, and I think if you get a good team of writers behind it you could have some really kick-ass stories. So I'm kind of geared up for it, especially because I don't know. I think it would just be interesting to get some like crazy takes on the characters and then flush out a universe full of it. But like, here's the thing: the only downside, and I think the whole thing that ended the original Marvel Ultimate Universe the first time was because at first it was popular, and then all of a sudden one side's gonna outsell the other. So one side's gonna one realm, right? Not to use Mortal Kombat terms here, but one like existence, one universe is going to probably out because not a lot of people are going to want to buy two books um with two different continuities to try to keep along with. I mean, yeah, there's psychopaths like me that love that, but for the average consumer, especially the price of books, you probably is going to be rational to pick one or the other. And knowing that the new jumping on point, a lot of people are going to probably go to that and kind of flee all the Dawn of DC books. Now, that's not me hating on Dawn of DC. I know a lot of people didn't like the Dawn of DC. Um, but now I feel like we're two events in, we have the whole Doctor Hate in like that revelation, and then where is Waller going would be the next big event that I don't know when it's set for. Obviously, I'll do this kind of style video when that comes along. But honestly, what are your thoughts? Do you think it's the right time to do this? Do you think that is it going to be way too freaking much? Are you going to choose one or the other? Are you just not even going to give a crap about DC and just keep not reading it? I'm just kind of curious. But I think if it's done right with a good team of writers, people will be behind it. But I think you know what would be really cool? Yeah, obviously you're gonna have to have one of your major players, like whether that be like Batman or Superman. But if it was up to me, I think, and this is right off the cusp, so sorry if this idea is actually really freaking stupid. But what I think would be cool is having that, one of the flagship characters, of course, because you're gonna need that to like really get copies moving, hence Spider-Man or something and have that be Batman, whatever. Add your different takes that are going to make it way different from the current continuity, and then take characters that don't have their self-contained books yet in the Dawn of DC line. Now, of course, we have, I think, Dawn of DC. If I could go through a little quickly mental checklist, we got what? We got the Flash, we got Superman, we got Batman, we got Green Arrow, we got Green Lantern. Green Lantern, you could kind of play around with and just add another Green Lantern, so that kind of clears up some continuity there. But also, if you flip it though, you could look at the whole fact of maybe doing I don't know. Like there's so many characters that don't have their self books out right now that I think you could play around with. Or you could do some like lesser known characters and kind of thrust them more into the spotlight. I think it'd be a good opportunity to highlight some of the underutilized DC characters. I don't know. That's just maybe my thing. Maybe a Red Tornado book. I don't know. But regardless, I'm going to stop my rant. This is kind of just some comic book news that I've been wanting to record this video for 2 weeks now, and I haven't been able to, but I promise you guys I'm back with more videos. So do me a huge favor and hit that like and subscribe button down below and comment on what your thoughts are on this DC universe, multi universe, ultimate universe, whatever you want to call it. And until next time, I'll see you. Keep on reading.